What if one day our world began to fall? Well, it is a truly startling thought, isn't it? To imagine our blue and green Earth, this vibrant home teeming with life, being drawn into the deepest, darkest mystery of the cosmos, a black hole. This isn't a story to cause fright, but rather one to awaken a sense of profound wonder. It's a journey of the mind that allows us to explore the very fabric of the universe and our delicate place within it. So, let us embark on this thought experiment together, with calm curiosity as our guide. And if you find these explorations of the universe as fascinating as I do, perhaps you might consider subscribing to IfVerse to join us on future journeys. Imagine for a moment looking up at the familiar tapestry of the night sky. The steadfast constellations, the gentle glow of the Milky Way, the silvery disk of our moon, all are dependable companions on our planet's journey through space. But now, picture a new addition to this celestial theatre. A patch of impossible blackness, a hole punched through the starfield. At first, it would be nothing more than a curiosity for astronomers, a distant anomaly. But this is no ordinary patch of darkness. It is a place where gravity has become so overwhelmingly powerful that not even light, the fastest thing in the universe, can escape its grasp. The very idea seems so far removed from our daily lives. We worry about the weather, the traffic, what to have for our tea. The notion of our entire planet being pulled into a cosmic drain feels like something from a far-fetched film. Yet, by allowing ourselves to entertain this possibility, we can begin to appreciate the grand forces that govern everything. The fall would not be sudden, like a stone dropped from a hand. It would be a slow, inexorable waltz, a gradual surrender to a force that has been shaping galaxies for billions of years. It's a descent that would change everything we know. Let us begin this story not with panic, but with quiet observation. To understand this journey, we must first appreciate the force that orchestrates it all: gravity. It is a wonderfully simple, yet profoundly powerful concept. Gravity is the invisible thread that keeps your feet firmly on the ground, that holds the oceans in their basins, that choreographs the elegant dance of the planets around our sun. It is the universal glue. The strength of this attraction depends on two things: how much mass an object has, and how close you are to it. A black hole is the ultimate expression of this principle, an immense amount of mass squeezed into an impossibly small space, creating a gravitational field of unimaginable strength. At first, as this wandering black hole drifts into our cosmic neighborhood, its influence would be subtle, almost imperceptible. Earth would continue its familiar orbit around the Sun. The Sun would maintain its steady course through the galaxy. But gravity's reach is infinite. Even from a great distance, the black hole's immense mass would begin to exert a gentle but persistent tug. This is not an immediate catastrophe, but the slow, deliberate turning of a page in our planet's final chapter. The laws of physics are patient, and their consequences are absolute, unfolding with a quiet inevitability that is both terrifying and magnificent. The first signs of trouble would not be seen in the sky, but felt in the delicate balance of our world's systems. The Earth's orbit would begin to develop a slight, almost drunken wobble. Our network of satellites would find themselves drifting from their precisely calculated paths. Even our nearest celestial neighbor, the Moon, would feel the pull. Its orbit would be subtly distorted, leading to unpredictable and dramatic changes in our ocean tides. This is where the story truly begins, not with a bang, but with a series of quiet, unnerving whispers from the cosmos. These initial effects would ripple through our technological society in puzzling ways. Your car's GPS might guide you to the wrong street. Power grids might experience inexplicable fluctuations and blackouts. Airline pilots would be forced to adjust their flight paths. Out on the open ocean, seasoned sailors would report strange and powerful currents. It is the rising tension of a planet slowly losing its balance, a prelude to the grander, more dramatic changes yet to come. The early days of the fall would be a time of great scientific discovery and public anxiety. Around the world, in laboratories and in observatories, the brightest minds would work tirelessly. Their task would be to measure the black hole's mass, measure its speed, and measure its trajectory, calculating the precise timeline of our planet's fate. They would share their findings with a world hanging on their every word. Their calm, measured voices cutting through the rising tide of fear. As the Earth is drawn ever closer to the black hole, the most dramatic changes would unfold above our heads. The sky, our constant and familiar canopy, would begin to look profoundly strange. The black hole itself would grow larger in our field of view, no longer a pinprick, becoming a definite circular void against the stars. It would be a presence, a palpable emptiness that would seem to drink the light around it. The sun would still rise and set, but its light would have to travel through space increasingly warped by immense gravity. This distortion would create breathtaking and unnerving visual phenomena. Light from distant stars and galaxies passing near the black hole would be bent, a process known as gravitational lensing. Stars hidden behind the black hole would appear, their light smeared into arcs and even complete rings around the dark abyss. The constellation Orion might seem to have two Betelgeuses. The Big Dipper could be stretched into a long, wavy line. Our familiar star maps would become useless, replaced by a swirling, phantasmagorical display that fills observers with terror and wonder. The colours in the sky would shift. Gravitational blue shift would occur. Light falling toward the black hole gains energy and shortens in wavelength. Stars behind us would look shifted toward the blue end of the spectrum. That direction of sky would take on a cold, brilliant, silvery blue hue, an unnervingly beautiful sight, a reminder we were accelerating toward our destination at ever-increasing speed. Meanwhile, storms on Earth would grow in power and scale. Hurricanes of a size never before seen would churn across the oceans. Tornadoes would carve destructive paths across continents. Winds would howl with new, terrifying ferocity. Rainfall would become biblical in proportion. The planet itself would rage against its fate, its systems breaking down under immense external pressure. The sky would be a canvas of cosmic beauty and terrestrial violence, majestic and terrifying. As our descent continues, a new and far more destructive force would begin to make its presence felt. It is not gravity itself, but the difference in gravity across the planet. This is known as the tidal force. The side of the Earth facing the black hole would be pulled significantly harder than the side facing away. It is this differential pull that would begin to, quite literally stretch our world. This force is what causes our familiar ocean tides with the Moon, but on this scale, its effects would be catastrophic, a slow and methodical dismantling of our planet. Initially, these tidal forces would manifest in the planet's geology. The Earth's crust, already under strain, would begin to crack and fracture. Earthquakes of unprecedented magnitude would rock the continents, not just along existing fault lines, but everywhere. Volcanoes that have been dormant for millennia would erupt with explosive force, spewing ash and dust into the already chaotic atmosphere. Great fissures would open in the ground, some miles long, as the very bedrock of our world is pulled apart. Mountains, the symbols of geological permanence, might begin to crumble and collapse under the strain. The oceans would be subjected to these forces in the most dramatic way imaginable. The water on the side of the Earth nearest the black hole would be pulled upwards into a colossal, permanent bulge, a mountain of water miles high. On the opposite side of the planet, another bulge would form as the solid Earth is pulled away from the water there. These two immense tidal waves would sweep across the globe as the planet rotates, scouring the continents clean. It would be a relentless, planetary-scale flood from which there would be no high ground, no escape. This stretching effect would not be limited to rock and water.
The very air we breathe would begin to be stripped away. The atmosphere on the side of the planet facing the black hole would be pulled taut, thinning out and being siphoned off into the void. This process might be slow at first, a gradual drop in air pressure, but it would accelerate as we drew closer. The end result would be the slow suffocation of a world, its protective blanket of air unraveling and being drawn into the silent, waiting darkness. It is a grim and silent end for a world that was once so full of breath and life.
In the midst of this unimaginable planetary upheaval, what would become of us? What would become of humanity? The story of Earth's fall is not just one of physics and geology, it is a story about people. Faced with the end of everything they have ever known, human beings would react in a multitude of ways. There would be fear, of course, a deep and primal terror. There would be bravery. There would be compassion. There would be love. In the face of the ultimate darkness, the warmth of the human spirit might just shine its brightest. Communities would band together in ways we can scarcely imagine. The old divisions would seem utterly meaningless. Nationality, religion, wealth. Neighbors would help neighbors. Strangers would shelter one another from the raging storms. Volunteers would work tirelessly to maintain some semblance of order and care. Hospitals would remain open until the very last moment, their staff working under impossible conditions to comfort the sick and injured. In these final days, the simple act of holding a hand would become an act of profound defiance. Sharing a story would become an act of profound defiance. Art and music would flourish in the most extraordinary way. People would feel an overwhelming urge to create, to express the maelstrom of emotions within them. Artists would paint the terrifying beauty of the transformed sky. Musicians would compose symphonies that capture the sound of a world breaking apart. Poets would write about loss. Poets would write about memory. Poets would write about the strange, sad beauty of our final moments. These works of art would be our final testament, messages in a bottle thrown into the cosmic ocean. Many would turn to faith, finding solace in ancient rituals and prayers. Others would find peace in understanding the science, a calm acceptance of the universe's laws. Families would gather close, telling stories, sharing memories, simply being together. A child might draw a picture of the sky with a smiling sun. A couple might hold each other on a quiet street. A teacher might read a simple book to a room full of children. These small, intimate moments of connection would be the most important things in the world. There comes a point in this journey from which there is no return. In the physics of black holes, this boundary is known as the event horizon. It is not a physical surface you could touch, but rather a conceptual line drawn in space-time. It is the black hole's edge, the point at which its gravitational pull becomes so strong that the escape velocity exceeds the speed of light. Once anything, a beam of light, a particle of dust, an entire planet, crosses this threshold, it is trapped forever. It can no longer send any light or information back out into the wider universe. From the perspective of a distant observer, watching Earth through a powerful telescope, something very strange would happen as we approach the event horizon. According to Einstein's theory of relativity, intense gravity warps not just space, but time itself. To this outside observer, our fall would appear to slow down. The closer we got to the edge, the more sluggish our motion would seem, as if we were moving through cosmic treacle. Our image would grow dimmer and redder at the very moment we crossed the horizon. We would appear to freeze in time, a faint, ghostly afterimage lingering at the edge for eternity. For us on Earth, however, our experience of time would feel perfectly normal. We would not feel ourselves slowing down. Clocks would tick at their usual pace, and we would continue to live out our final moments in what feels like real time. We would sail across the event horizon without any jolt or fanfare. There would be no signpost, no cosmic doorbell to ring. One moment we would be outside, the next we would be inside. The only immediate difference would be the stark mathematical certainty that we could now only move in one direction, inwards, towards the center. Once inside the event horizon, the very nature of space and time would be fundamentally altered. In our normal universe, we are free to move in any direction in space, forwards, backwards, up, down, but we are forced to move in only one direction in time, towards the future. Inside a black hole, these roles are swapped. The direction towards the central point, the singularity, becomes the future. It is no longer a place in space, but an inevitable moment in time. All paths lead to it. Trying to move away from it would be as impossible as trying to travel back to yesterday, you know?
The journey inside the event horizon would be swift and final. Here, the tidal forces we spoke of earlier would reach their most extreme and bizarre conclusion. The difference in the gravitational pull between the part of the Earth closest to the singularity and the part farthest away would become immense. This incredible differential would stretch the planet with a force beyond all comprehension. This process has been given a rather whimsical, if grim, name by astrophysicists: spaghettification. It is a simple, almost comical term for an utterly terrifying process of cosmic disintegration. Imagine our planet as a ball of dough. As it falls deeper into the black hole, it would be stretched vertically and squeezed horizontally. The planet would elongate, becoming a long, thin stream of matter. The very atoms that make up the rocks, the oceans, our bodies would be pulled apart. The beautiful blue and white marble of Earth would be unraveled into a ribbon of its constituent particles, a river of plasma flowing towards the black hole's center. This stream would become hotter and hotter as it fell, glowing brilliantly before being consumed. This process would be the ultimate deconstruction. Every mountain, every ocean, every city, every living thing would be broken down to its fundamental components. The complex structures that took billions of years to form, from the geological strata of the Grand Canyon to the delicate neural networks of the human brain, would be torn asunder in a fraction of a second. It is a complete and total erasure. From the perspective of the universe, it would be as if our world and all its history had been shredded and fed into a cosmic furnace, its light and substance adding a tiny bit of mass to the black hole.
And what waits at the very center? What is the singularity? Here, our current understanding of physics breaks down completely. Our best theories, general relativity, quantum mechanics, give contradictory answers. General relativity suggests a point of infinite density and zero volume, a place where the laws of space-time cease to exist. Quantum mechanics, however, suggests that such infinities are not possible. Some scientists speculate that matter is not crushed to a point, but perhaps transformed into something else entirely, or maybe even passes through a wormhole into another universe. It is the greatest unknown in all of science. Even as our world faces its final inevitable dissolution, is it possible that something of us might survive? Not in a physical sense, of course, but as a final fleeting message to the cosmos. Before crossing the event horizon, our planet would have been broadcasting its existence into space for a century. Our television shows, our radio signals, our first tentative communications with satellites, space probes, all of these signals travel outwards at the speed of light. They are a bubble of information, an electronic ghost of humanity expanding into the galaxy. These signals, carrying our music, our news reports, the sound of our voices, would continue their journey long after their source was gone. Thousands of years from now, an alien civilization orbiting a distant star might detect the faint, tinny sounds of a 1950s rock and roll song or the broadcast of the 1969 moon landing. They would have no idea what happened to the world that sent them, but for a brief moment, a piece of our culture, a fragment of our soul, would live on in the consciousness of another species. It is a strangely comforting thought, this idea of a posthumous first contact. In the final days, humanity would surely make a concerted effort to send out a more deliberate farewell. We would likely turn our most powerful transmitters towards the heavens, broadcasting a final message. What would we say? Perhaps we would send our science, our mathematical formulas, our understanding of the universe. Perhaps we would send our art, our music, our poetry, the things that speak of our inner lives. Maybe it would be simpler, a collection of voices saying hello and goodbye in every language on Earth. A final, unified statement of our existence. This presents a final, poignant twist of wonder. As the Earth is stretched and torn apart during spaghettification, the matter itself would be heated to incredible temperatures, releasing a final, brilliant burst of X-rays and other high-energy radiation just before it crosses the event horizon. This flare would be the last, bright farewell of our world, a death cry visible across the cosmos. An astronomer millions of light-years away might record it as a transient cosmic event, a brief flicker in the dark. They would label it, catalogue it, and move on, never knowing they had just witnessed the end of a world that was once, for a brief moment, home to us. And so, our thought experiment comes to its quiet conclusion. We have followed our world on its ultimate journey from a gentle wobble to a final, fiery dissolution. It is a stark and sobering tale, but one that, I hope, leaves us not with a sense of dread, but with a renewed appreciation for the here and now. The thought of falling into a black hole is a powerful lens, a dramatic device that forces us to look at our own world, our own lives with fresh eyes. It reminds us of how fragile and precious our existence truly is. This story teaches us about the grand, impersonal beauty of the universe. The laws of physics that would lead to our destruction are the same laws that created the stars, hold the galaxies together, allowed for the birth of life on our small blue planet. There is no malice in a black hole's gravity, only a relentless and impartial logic. To understand this is to feel a sense of connection to the cosmos, to see ourselves not as separate from it, but as a tiny, fleeting part of its magnificent, ongoing story. We are, in the end, made of stardust, and to stardust we shall return. But perhaps the most important lesson is not about the vastness of space, but about the value of warmth and connection. In the face of overwhelming darkness, we saw how human beings might come together, compassion, creativity. This journey into the hypothetical reminds us that our time here is finite, and that what truly matters are small acts of kindness, the stories we share, the love we give to one another. The universe may be vast and cold, but we have the capacity to create our own warmth. So now, let us return from this strange and distant shore. Look around you. Look up at the sky, which for now remains calm and familiar. The universe is indeed a place of awesome power and deep mystery, but it is also our home. Let us be good custodians of this remarkable planet and gentle with each other during our short time upon it. For our existence is a brief and beautiful anomaly, a fleeting moment of consciousness in the grand, silent theatre of the cosmos. Stay curious, keep asking questions, never lose your wonder. And if you'd like to explore more such realities, please do subscribe to IfVerse. You've been watching IfVerse. Subscribe for more mind-bending realities.